I'm about $1. I'm about $1. Houston, you already know what time it is. This is the What's Next podcast, Houston's #1 platform where I invite creatives to share their journeys and give us a depiction of their visions. Most importantly, the last question I'll ask is, what's next?
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Houston, Texas, this is episode 127, All Lives Matter of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. Shouts to the Astros, they play tonight. We 2-0 in the ALDS. I got a show this weekend, we're going to talk about it. Y'all ready? Walk with me.
Yo, it's like 95, Sachi on my body. Biggie, chicken, puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby. Wildin' in my wallies, and them valleys, no
Everything I started, I stopped. In search of where to start, I asked the pastor, what Bible verse comes to mind when I say all lives matter? He said nothing, because black lives matter. This from a man of God who's aware of a lost cause and attempts to teach, searching that volume Sacred Law for the correct scriptures to read. He said, John 3:16.
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Houston, Texas, welcome back to episode 127 of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. That's WHAT, no apostrophe S, NEXT, exclamation, question mark. The What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. Listen, this is a creative story. And the reason why I spell my podcast name out is because if you hear what's next, you'll just automatically put that apostrophe right after the T, right? But I want to let you know that there is no apostrophe after the T in the What's Next podcast. Listen, it's show week, okay? At the conclusion of this week, today's Sunday. At the conclusion of this week, I'll be in a show on Friday and Saturday, October 15th and 16th. And the name of the show is entitled Black, Blue, All Lives, All Mine. It's going to be at Jones Hall. Tickets are available at spahouston.org. Spahouston.org. Tickets are $25. There are two shows, Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. here in Houston, Texas, Jones Hall. And it's a big thing for me. It's a big thing for me because it's been a long time since I had to perform. It's been a long time since I've been in front of a crowd. It's been a long time since I've been in that element, right? And when I think about that, I think about opportunities. And when I think about opportunities, when opportunities come, you got to seize them. No matter what they are, you got to seize them. You got to take full advantage of them. You got to take full advantage of them, because if you don't, and you're waiting for the next opportunity, you'll never know when that comes. So you got to take full opportunity of the opportunities that come. You gotta seize the moment, right? And in preparing for the show on Friday and Saturday, we're gonna talk about the direction that I was in, or what it was, right? But I bring you greetings this Sunday afternoon, October the 10th, 2021. And we have 82 days left in the year, right? And 82 days left in the year and 5 days left before the show. So with 82 days, man, I'm really locked in on this show on Friday and Saturday, because I don't know what it'll bring me, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here, to be performing, to be in front of a crowd, to have my people there. My man Gerald Lee Henry Smith hit me yesterday, and he was like, "Hey JR, I sent you a message, but you never responded." And I was like, my bad. And I had to go back and look. And he was just like, "When is the show?" And then he went ahead on Facebook and he posted the show for my class, the class of 2003 at Booker T. Washington High School, and the High School for Engineering Professions, to come out, because every time I have a play, they always support in droves. So to my class from Booker T. Washington High School and the High School for Engineering Professions, I appreciate the love and support that you continuously pour into me, right? But yeah, the show comes on Friday, and it promises to be a big show. I've never been at Jones Hall before, so you can imagine, not necessarily the pressure, but you can imagine what it might feel like to walk inside there and know that people are coming to see you, irregardless if they bought a ticket from you or not. Right? It's got me feeling excited, right? So excited that I performed that poem in front of my advocacy period at school, just to let them know it's real, just to let them know that when I talk, I ain't just making stuff up. I'm not no guy that just kind of just makes things up. But I performed that poem in front of my advocacy students at school. And so it goes like this. This is kind of where I want to start it off at. Was that there that I was listening to it, or was it here that I was listening to it? It was, no, that's not where I was listening to it at. So I do this thing where I go back and I listen to my episodes just to make sure, you know, just to listen to them, see where I was, see what I could have done better, right? And that's not this one. It is here. It is here. It was the episode, Life is What You Make It, right? Life is what you make it. Life is what you make it. It was that episode. And, you know, so here we go. I got a phone call and I'll play it for you.
Listen. I got a phone call the other day, right? And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I got a phone call last week. Well, actually, I got a phone call this past Wednesday, right? And you know, as an actor, because that's what I am. As an actor, hold on.
I'm talking to you about the opportunity that came my way.
As an actor, I found it difficult to get back into the realm of it. Now that I'm done with real estate, now that I'm in education, I'm beginning to make my second win. I'm trying to catch my second win, and I'm moving forward in my career and stuff like that. I've been trying to get back to my passion. The word that defines me is passionate. Like my boy Freddie said in episode 110. I'm a passionate person. Right? I'm a passionate person. And so I've been trying to get back to my passion, and I've been trying to figure, man, you know what? If I deviate from the path of being an actor, maybe people will see the grind, what it looks like to hustle. Maybe people will see that in me, and they'll understand that this is what I'm doing it for. With all that being said, I sit back and I wait, and I'm like, yo, when the phone call is gonna come? When are people?
John Ross Dike the founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
I see the
Central Standard
podcast
Time.
going, so yo, you know what? I wanna promote on your podcast. How do I do so? Better yet, I know that your podcast is dropping every Tuesday. Is there a way that I can get you on my project? Because I know that I'm gonna see you on the internet every Tuesday, every week, damn near, and it hasn't come. So I get a phone call this past Wednesday,
Right.
from my homegirl. We shoot the shit, you know. She's like, yo, with my t-shirt. I'm like, yo, I apologize. I'm gonna get you that t-shirt. I just been mad busy. You know what I'm saying? I've been running around, school, work, being a husband, doing all of this stuff. But I'm gonna get you the t-shirt. And she was like, that's not what I meant to call you for. What I meant to call you for was this. I was talking to such and such.
So, round of applause. Long story less long. Nah, let me tell you this story. I got a story to tell. So, I was on the way to a large meeting, and my homegirl called me and she said, "Hey, JR, somebody wants to work with you," right? And this is what I mean by you got to seize the opportunity. A lot of times when you get a little limelight, right, it'll go to your head. You start to think that you're iller than you really are. You start to think that, you know what? These boys can't see me. They can't touch me. And you carry that ego with you everywhere you go. You mingle less. You network less because you know, well, you feel in your mind that you are the illest person around. Arrogance. And I carried that arrogance with me. Seeing that I was doing everything that I was doing, you know, I seen people start, I seen people stop. I seen people begin and call me and hit me like, yo, this podcast thing, talk to me about it. And it can kind of go to your head. So when you, and let's just say, let's draw from a pool of 3 other people. So out of 4 people, right, you're the person who has that ego where the other 3 people are just like, you know what, I'm going to seize this opportunity that I'm been given and I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to do everything that I can to acquire what I am dreaming about. You, on the other hand, you're just like, listen, I'm God's gift. They should want me. Why don't they want me? And you go out and you audition with the other 3 people, but you don't get booked. The email or the phone call comes back and it's just like, listen, I wanted to be the first to let you know that we're going to go a different direction. And you're like, wait a minute. Who did you pick? But that's not your business. You're more along the lines of your ego and your pride is kind of shattered. Like, listen, you're not as dope as you thought you were. You got to eat that. You got to eat that. You got to live with it. You got to watch everybody, those other 3 people out of the 4, right? Because you were the 4th. Those other 3 people, you got to see them on the big screen because they humbled themselves and you didn't, right? So when I say opportunities, you got to seize them. I get a phone call and my homegirl's like, listen, somebody wants to work with you. Immediately, I looked out the front of my window. Immediately, she didn't have to say another word. I was like, I'm there, no matter what it is. Because after being denied because of your own arrogance, now you see the opportunity and everything that you've been wishing that people did hit you because they liked your voice or hit you because they had seen before or remember you to put you in their project has now come. So who are you now to be like, you know what? Nah, when she said somebody wants to work with you, she didn't have to tell me another thing. I said, I'm there. Thank you. I'm there. She says, he remembered you and he specifically asked for you to be in the project. I said, oh shit. Woo. I'm back to acting again. She says, it's going to be at Jones Hall. It's going to be a big thing. Before she even said Jones Hall, I've been to Jones Hall before. I never performed there, but I've been there. And I think it was a New Year's Eve party back in the day. This is 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. I went there for a New Year's Eve party to bring the new year in. So I've been to Jones Hall, but I was just like, man, I can't believe it. I was excited. Again, I'm talking to you from the lens of somebody who has not been in any kind of project for years. The podcasting took that platform from me because I wanted to podcast, to create a platform to be able to showcase my projects and get people to pay for t-shirts, pay to see it, pay to see the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So we're still working on those bits and pieces of that, but I went to podcast, and podcasting is a form of broadcasting. It's a form of sitting in front of a microphone and talking, right? And so as I'm losing that, you know, that lane in acting, I'm creating another lane in podcasting. But when she says this, my acting hat comes on. And I'm like, I'm ready. Thank you, is what I said. Thank you. I'm ready. I'm here. No matter what, I will get the job done. Habakkuk 2:2-3 says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You do what you do for yourself to prove you can do it for others. Even though the year of perfect vision needed corrective lenses, your vision was never out of focus. You remained still. You remained determined. Kobe said, "The Mamba mentality is the attention to detail and the level of commitment. Run your race because you got time. Keep the momentum. Believe in your story, a creative story. Remember, never stay comfortable while trusting the process. Be innovative in your 720 hours. There will be stumbling blocks. You just keep pushing. Most importantly, what's next? Continue to drop."
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Here's the story. The first day of rehearsals, we're on the phone, me and the other 4 people that are going to be in this play. So when I hear play, I'm thinking, oh, damn. Okay, I'll be acting good. So I'm on the phone. And the guy, the creator of this show says, okay, I picked y'all 4. Y'all going to be in the show. You need to write your own poems. And you're going to recite those poems on stage at Jones Hall. He says, write your own poem. I look away from the phone. I'm outside my house in the driveway. I look away at the house across the street. I look to my left. I look to my right. I put the phone away from my ear. I put it down. I start shaking my head. Damn. He wants me to write a poem. I'm not acting at all. So there I go, going back on that opportunity. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God. Write a poem? Nah, I'm not a poet. I've since moved on from that. I'm not a poet. I call my homegirl after and I'm just like, yo, Jay, really? Write a poem? I haven't written in a long time. I tell her, I haven't written in a long time. Every time I try to write everything, see, as a writer, you become your experiences. You got to keep in mind on this journey, you've known that I had a kid. I buried my kid. And so now every time I write, it's about that. And I'll start to write and I get emotional. Tears drop down from my eyes and then I stop. So I haven't written anything in a long time. But I forget, in talking to Jayla, I was like, I came from that lane. In the college scene, you had Greeks, you had athletes, you had skateboarders, you had people that ran social clubs, people that were in charge of the clubs like Nesby and the Nigerian Student Association and the African Student Association, and you had the Society for Black Engineers. You had all these organizations, and here I was. I had dibble-dabbled in a few of those, right? But I never really found my niche until my roommate, Mikey Wagba, who was an alpha at U of H, or who is an alpha from U of H. Alphas would throw events on campus, and I would do poetry there. So I got my start in this acting thing, in this podcasting thing, in this performance thing, in this whole arena as a poet. I didn't keep that in mind. See, it's full circle because it comes back to where I started. I started as a poet. But while I'm talking to Jay, I'm just like, nah, Jay, it's just not me. I'm not that guy. What am I going to do? She was like, I'll help you. Don't worry, I'll help you. And so I started writing the poem. The guy tells me, you're going to write about All Lives Matter. Let me say that again, y'all. He said that I'm going to write about All Lives Matter. Me, a black man with a beard, tall, loud, who's not necessarily pro-black in public, but I have my viewpoints that I don't care to share right now. But I got to write a poem about all lives matter. Everything I started, I stopped. I started here, and I thought that I was going to write a poem and put some Spanish in it. And I thought that I was going to talk about this and talk about that and talk about this and talk about that. But nothing was clicking, and that time was a ticking. Then not to mention, the guy sent a Cash App. Oh, he had us locked in. He sent a Cash App. Jay said, yo, did you receive the Cash App? I said, yeah, I even spent it. They're expecting me to perform, and I had no direction. So I went to church one day. And after church, I was lost. I didn't know where to begin writing this poem at. This poem's got to be 3 minutes long. I'm up first. I did not know where I wanted to start at. So I went to church that day, and after, I went into the little room where they give snacks and everything, and I came out. The pastor was there, and I said, hey, man, how you doing? He said, I'm good. I said, hey, man, what Bible verse comes to mind when I say all lives matter? He said what he said. I was like, wow. Because it's a difficult subject. Like when I've written poetry in the past, I've never said, I'm going to write about this and was successful at it. I would listen to Music Soul Child, Love or Half Crazy, and I would get my inspiration from that. But being given a topic and having to write on that, no, I've never done that before. Listen, y'all, you know when I put on the black tee, I come here to talk to you. I come here to be one with you, okay? This episode is dropping on Tuesday. If you're watching it now, it's Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I got a show on Friday, and I had to write a poem months ago for this show. So after we're talking about a month. We talking about, listen, if the show's in October, we first had this meeting maybe in August, maybe July or so. And I had started writing the day I got off the phone with this guy and the rest of the cast. I had started writing then. September come around. I had written so much, I didn't even have a clear direction. I tell no lie. I didn't have a clear direction until I said to myself, oh man, I got to go this route. I got to go the spiritual route. So I get on the Bible app and I start looking for Bible verses that kind of fit what I'm trying to say here. I'm writing about all lives matter, which means that everybody has got to be included in this. White, black, Asian, Spanish, European, Middle Eastern, everybody. I have to come up with something that everybody has a part in. So I asked the pastor, what Bible verse comes to mind when I say all lives matter? Let me start it here. I eventually got the poem down. I've been rehearsing it. I know when I'm going to perform this Friday and Saturday. And I wanted to come here on this particular episode 127, All Lives Matter. I want to come on this episode and I wanted to perform the whole entire piece to you. But the director was like, the creator was like, nah, save some. So you got to come out on Friday and rock with your boy at 7:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday. You got to come to Jones Hall. You got to catch your Uber, get out of Jones Hall and come and rock with your boy. But this is what I came up with. Everything I started, I stopped. In search of where to start, I asked the pastor what Bible verse comes to mind when I say all lives matter. He said nothing, because black lives matter. This from a man of God who's aware of a lost cause and attempts to teach, searching that volume Sacred Law for the correct scriptures to read. He said, John 3:16, for the Lord so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whomsoever believeth should not perish, but have everlasting life. He said, The book of John is about life. Yo, listen, man. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is
John Ross Dike the founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
And you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dike and Still_Visionary. Also the What's Next Pod _ on IG. If you would connect with me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my fan page on Facebook, and visit my website at stillvisionary.com. Directly to my left, I have the trophy of the What's Next podcast. The tea that I give to every creative that comes on the podcast, whether big or small, old or young. I give them this tea, and I give them the What's Next podcast tea as well. I'm in a black SVIT that I give on a podcast, and you can shop for everything except for this tea and the black What's Next podcast tea at stillvisionary.com/merch. I sell t-shirts. I embroider my logo. I have hoodies. I have windbreakers. I have crew necks. I have long sleeve, short sleeve. No matter what, I got it. stillvisionary.com/merch. So guys, I wrote the poem. It's called All Lives Matter. I'm performing the piece this Friday and Saturday, October 15th and 16th at 7:30 p.m. at Jones Hall. Tickets are available at spahouston.org. I need you to come out there and rock with me because it's been a long time, and I'm hoping that this performance, I'm hoping that this opportunity that I seized, right, I hope it transforms into something else. But if it doesn't, it reminds me that no matter what it is, big or small, you got to seize the moment. You got to take it full on. You got to give it your best foot. And that's where I find myself, y'all. This episode is all about that opportunity, that experience. Writing it was a difficult task because I had no direction. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. But bear in mind, everything that I've ever done artistically, I've written. I wrote Gressel Diaries with my man Mario Wanza. I wrote Chameleon Sunrise with my man Mario Wanza. I don't necessarily write the words I'm going to say this on this podcast, but I created this podcast and wrote all the what is it called? I'm missing the word. Cue points where I pull from to be able to go lead us into conversation. So this Friday, man, you know, I felt the need to save it, and I wanted to do the entire cast, but it's got to be some exclusivity for everybody who's going to come out to this show, right? And I'm just appreciative of Jayla. Like I said in what was it? We did a project. We did a podcast with her fourth film, Fair Play rather. I said Foreplay. Like I said in Fair Play, man, without her, you know, I'm just grateful for the opportunity that she's helped me acquire, put me in her first film, being a lead in her stage play. And I'm just, everybody needs a Jayla in that corner. And I'm just appreciative of that opportunity, man. I said the day was October the 10th, 2021. We have 82 days left in the 2021 year. The fourth quarter is moving well. I've sold a few T-shirts and I'm looking to sell some more. But in 82 days, I'm really focused on the 5 days before the show. And I just want to crush this show, right? I'm going to take a half day that Friday. I'm going to get my hair cut on Thursday so that I'm locked and ready and loaded. You know what I mean? I'm locked and loaded to do this show. And if you're watching this on Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, even Friday, it's not too late. Get a ticket. Come out and see your boy, 7:30 p.m., Jones Hall. I'm performing my piece, All Lives Matter, in the black, blue, All Lives, All Mine show at 7:30 at Jones Hall. So most importantly, guys, what's next for me? The show. Nothing else but the show. The show. The show's next. The show is next. Houston, Texas, it's your boy. It's your boy, man.
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Houston, Texas. I do what I do for myself to prove that I can do it for others. See me Friday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Jones Hall. Let's rock.
Sachi on my body, Biggie chicken pumpkin, that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like Ace of Spades, that Ace of Spades get cracked me like
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dog. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice and naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up.
John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. John Ross Dike I, founder of Still Visionary Inc. and creator of the What's Next podcast, dropping every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Over.